Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. The topic of this video today is this notion of a sponsored work permit. I've had some inquiries, I've had some folks ask me about this, clients have asked me about this, and I've seen this term used a bit online here recently, this notion of a quote-unquote sponsored work permit. Well, again, this is sort of a euphemism. It's sort of been made up in the last few weeks, but what does it mean? Well, basically, people know that the top category, one of the highest prioritized non-immigrant visa categories for Thailand, involves work authorization, specifically work permit issuance or pre-authorization WP3 associated with work authorization. And I have seen a lot of folks discussing the notion of a quote-unquote sponsored work permit in the context of trying to enter Thailand, specifically to obtain a certificate of entry to Thailand and thereby coordinate their admission to Thailand, quarantine, and release therefrom. So what is it? Well, in essence, what it sounds like to me in the few places I've seen that have sort of been touting this, it appears to be a situation where some company offers to sponsor you for a work permit. But it looks to me like, and I'm not saying that, obviously this is the way folks are coming into Thailand in work authorization status. But there appear to be some who are sort of out there flogging the ability to sponsor people for work permits. And there's some fine lines when you're dealing with immigration, when you're dealing with the legal profession, when you're dealing with law specifically. There are fine lines out there. And some of those fine lines, trying to figure out when you've crossed it can be a bit difficult. But what I would look at with respect to this is, if this is a sponsored work permit that's not genuine, you're not actually going to use the work permit, you're not actually coming into a company that you have any part of, you have any activity with, then you really need to be careful about this, because it could be deemed to be fraudulent. You could have even presumably, although this is a bit of a logical stretch, but I could see fact patterns where this could fit. You could be sort of deemed to be sort of trafficked. You could have situations where you simply are viewed as circumventing the immigration law or engaging again in some form of fraud. So be very careful with this notion. Again, if you're looking to come to Thailand to work, there are ways to do that. There's perfectly legal ways of doing that. If you're looking to come to Thailand to do business, there's perfectly legal ways of doing that and gaining admission to the kingdom. But this notion of sort of doing it via subterfuge with, doing things in sort of a pretextual or even a pretensive manner, that is not a good course of action to follow. And for this reason, it is a good idea, in my opinion, to contact a legal professional in order to gain some insight and guidance into how best to proceed in obtaining lawful, proper admission to the Kingdom of Thailand.